I work in many different mediums, painting, printmaking, and one of the ways that I enjoy working is with monotype. Because it's very painterly, it's really essentially a painting on paper. I start off with a matrix, just a blank surface, which I create a painting on, and I use an etching press to transfer it to paper, and then I go back in and I'll work more on the piece itself or on the plate, and then transfer it to the paper to get different layers to build up into a multi-layered piece. And as well, mixed media with, I put pastels or oil stick and various other ingredients as I work into it. These are oil inks, and so I enjoy it because it's very spontaneous, and it is essentially painting, which I enjoy working in that medium with canvas, board, or paper.
So, like, starting with this, how would you begin something like this? What's the first thing you would do?
Well, the first thing is to have it with a blank piece of acrylic or copper or zinc, and I actually paint on that matrix, and I create the painting with the oil paint and with different viscosities, different resists, and then like I say, I transfer it to paper with the press, with the pressure of the press, transfers it to the paper, and then I'll do various things after that to finish it.
What do the various viscosities do?
Well, they'll pull the inks away from each other and create veils and different layers, which gives it depth and mystique.
So do you start with a darker color and work lighter? Like in this red one you've got, are there darker colors beneath the red that give it that depth?
Well, sometimes I'll work with very light colors to begin with, and then go into layers of dark and reveal the light colors beneath, or the reverse. It's just depending on what I want to achieve, to have the light colors through or the dark coming through the light colors. The oil blends as it's it mixes together actually when it's pressed, and giving it, so you have to anticipate that blend, how it'll result in the end.
And how do you know how much pressure to use?
Depending on, well, in the case of etchings and that type of printmaking, there's a lot of pressure needed because the etch is in the plate, the paper has to be pressed down to receive that image. The monotypes they're actually on the surface of the plate, and so there's less pressure needed to lift that off, and it's sometimes called kiss. It's a kiss to lift it off the plate.
So it's a lot less pressure.
A lot less pressure. Yep.
And can it mix it so that it destroys? Like, can you have too much pressure and it would?
Yes, you can. You can have too much pressure, and it actually will. It almost squashes the image too much. The image is lifted right off the plate, and there is none left at the end, and that's why there's only one image. It's not an addition. You cannot do an addition with that. So
it's a fine balance between pressure and the resulting shading and color and
right, very much so. Yeah.
Right.
But too light a pressure doesn't lift off enough and transfer enough to the paper. So there's, more is left on the plate, and not enough has come onto the transfer. So.
And is there anything special about this kind of paper?
Yes, it's printmaking paper. It's, they're acid-free archival quality papers that will last for a long, long time. They don't yellow, so they're very, very durable.
That's neat. And what about this one here? This.
Well, the other thing I'm doing is I'm enjoying transferring or laminating the paper, oil on paper on board, and then varnishing, which. Then there's no glass in front of it, and so you get a richness of color, and it's very tactile. You can touch it. It's not so fragile. So it's, and then you can frame it that way, and no, there's no glass and no matting, and that fragility isn't there. So, you know, next to painting on canvas or board directly, which I do as well, this is a nice way to do the work, to make the work.
So you're getting a real subtlety of color here.
Well, again, that was done with a plate first, the painting on a plate, transferred with the press. And then the varnish has really brought out the colors. So.
And do you work on top of that after you varnish it, or
no,
before?
No, it's all done before the varnish, and then once the varnish is on, it's sealed, and just as a painting is. And like I said, it doesn't need any glass.